The year is 1996.
Nice.
It was a good year? I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows? I don't remember.
That was all right.
A young Christopher, or Christophe as they might call him, was scrambling through the local shopping center, and I stumbled across this weird bright yellow sign, red everywhere.
Yeah.
All these people yelling inside. I was like, what the heck? And there's all these like minis in the front window. And I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Like literally, like I've never seen anything like this before in my life.
Yeah.
And I walked inside and I was just like, this is something that exists.
Right.
This is crazy. And then I had this like excited person try to basically swoop my brother and I up, and was like, before we knew it, we were like rolling some dice on a table, some Marines and some Orcs or whatever. This is, like I said, 1996, so that all of my guys were like this or whatever. And I'm like, this is incredible. I need to do this. I don't know what this is, but I need to do this.
Really what happened is the guy saw your dad had like a Hudson's Bay bag or something in his hand. It was like this
Hudson's Bay. As if it's a department store.
This is one of the nicer ones. Maybe it was there an Eaton's there at the time?
There was
one of the they would have had something.
Eaton's was definitely there at the time.
They bought something a little bit more middle class in the mall.
Yeah, this is before the Walmart was there.
For the massive Canadian references.
This is like pre-Walmart, I think.
He's talking about a really specific shopping center.
Yeah.
So they're probably like, oh, he's got a nice haircut. He's got he's bought some nice things. He's got some money, So
I guess so. Yeah,
I'm gonna get these kids excited.
Well, mission accomplished. That's all I could talk about at home for like 2 weeks until my dad took us back and we got a starter set.
He looked at you. He was like, "Yeah, you like this?
You like this? You like this? It's cool." Yeah. Oh nice. Man. So yeah, we got into the hobby. So that I mean that I always hold that in my mind.
You had the real what Games Workshop wanted.
Yeah.
You had the real.
Yeah. I had the full. Although I did not get to paint a Free Space Marine. I don't know if they were even doing that.
Were they just too busy that day or whatever?
Maybe they were killing it back then at that store. It was like one of the only shops in the country. So
it was.
Yeah,
they were probably killing it.
So, yeah, I was. They had me right day one, right? So, I guess, like I always think about that day or like that time period, and how basically like it was basically like happenstance to discover Warhammer in the 90s, right? Like or miniature wargaming. Like no one was telling you about that. At that point, like I didn't have any single friends that did it. I just happened to walk by a shop and walked inside, and that was basically the only marketing they did in the 90s.
Again, we're specifying this is in Canada.
Whatever. Yeah.
By then, a little bit established in the UK, but the Canadian plan or whatever, or the leadership decided that they would, because of Canada's geography, open stores in basically the top 10 most attended, popular foot traffic like malls. Yeah, which is another super North American thing. We have big malls just like in the States, just where every weekend family would go.
Very much the case in like the 90s, how it was.
You just go Saturday, Sunday, you go to the mall, and you just roam around and you shop and
malls used to be like they're not anymore at all, but like they used to be places you could find anything. Like they had sports stores, music shops, model places. Like people, you could find almost anything there.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean. I guess like what I was just thinking in my brain about is like it's just crazy how I feel like people's first experience now is so dramatically different. Like, fast forward 30 years, yikes for me. In 2025, people are discovering it mostly through like their online experiences or through a video game or. It's not necessarily like walking into a hobby shop and being like, "What is this? Oh, cool."
No, so the real difference is when I and then Chris started working for them. At that time, this was whatever 2004 still. Yeah, you had the majority of people that walked into the store had no idea what it was. So you really had to do that. Like, they're models, and it's just like a big, you had to dumb everything down because you're talking to a parent. So you'd be like, it's like a chessboard, but you get to paint the pieces, and we roll some dice to see what happens, and then you literally put some dice in their hand, and essentially put them into a little game situation, even if it was just to roll a couple dice like quickly and all that. So that was it. It was like 9 out of 10 people that walked in the store. That was it. So,
that was the job, basically.
That was the job. The job was demoing what this is, and then so there was a lot of hurdles to overcome, to be honest. But anyway, generally, it looks cool. The stores had to be set up in a way to really showcase what it looked like, because you had to explain so much. With the demo tables and how they looked, and now it's just not. It doesn't have to, like most of the people walking to our store. I mean, we're not a recruiting store so much.
Granted, like I also want to put it out there that like Warhammer stores are very much still focused on doing these things.
Yep.
On recruitment and stuff
I'd still like to see though what it can't be like. Every guy who walks in is what is this?
Of course, and I think that's the major thing that's changed even with the Warhammer stores is like people know what they're like. For the most part, people
roll in and they're already like they have lists of they're like I need this and this, and and my job is more like almost to like look at what's on their list and just see what's missing or maybe make a suggestion, but they already have a preconceived or they've been playing Space Marine and they're like, I really just want to build a little.
Well, there's a guy yesterday, a couple of days ago, who was like coming in to check out. Like he's like, I'm Age of Sigmar curious or whatever. Right. I'm like, okay, cool. So we have a conversation. Yeah. And my first question now is because it's just been so many times where I'll talk so much and then, or I'm asking questions and like they kind of beat around the bush about it. But now I'm just like very direct. I'm like, what have you consumed? Yeah. Already before you come in here, and this guy was like, "Oh, I'm watching battle reports. Yes. I'm watching this." I'm like, "Okay, so I don't have to talk about all that stuff because you're already there, right? So let's work our way back. So what do you need from me? Now at this point, right? It's very different, very different. Whereas before, like you're basically placing every block.
You're building something from scratch.
Like from scratch, essentially, right?
Yeah, so. I would say the only thing in that era, in that time, that was kind of didn't require so much was the Lord of the Rings stuff, because it was coming out in theaters and everyone was like brushing up on their books and watching the movies. So often they'd walk in and I'd be like, "Oh," they're like, "Oh, you have Lord of the Rings things," and you're like, "Yeah, by the way, it's a hobby," and they're like, "Oh," and then they see the rest, but that's it. So now Warhammer's its own strong enough IP that there's like often schools have clubs for it, and most like young people I talk to, they know what it is. Yeah. Or they come in the store. Sometimes what happens is someone comes in the store and they're like, "What goes on here?" I'm like, "Oh, we got Warhammer and Magic," and they're like, "Oh yeah, okay." Like they're not like, "What's Warhammer?" Yeah. Things have completely changed in that regard. So yeah, I don't. That isn't. The question is like, how are people finding out about it? Is it just so well known, like a Lego?
No,
not quite.
I don't think it's quite there yet. We're not there yet. I think now I think you still do get the like bright-eyed like first experience person. I've seen it
a little bit.
Kids, and it's always magical because you're like, oh, this can still happen. This is so wonderful. It does
still happen. Yeah,
it's cool to see that excitement or whatever about like a kid discovering it for the first time. But I would say. The one thing that's like pulled back that a bit is like I feel like younger kids are less likely to start the hobby now, like they did kind of earlier, and that may be just the space that video games and kind of other things have taken up there, and people are coming to it a little bit later, and because of that, because the average I'd say starting age is shot up quite a bit.
It feels like it's more like 18 or something.
If you're 18. Like, what are you doing? You're online all the time, right? Like, so like I feel like people are discovering things through a video game now, or like they have friends online that do it, or they're just watching some content on it, or a streamer they like does Warhammer, or like. So we're like, there's like a second or third or fourth hand experience, basically, essentially by the time they get to the shop.
Yeah, and like I said, there's like schools often have clubs, like at least in high school. It's like the D&D and Warhammer is not as uncommon.
My 8 and 6 year old are playing Dungeons and Dragons in their aftercare program. Yeah, like which is like okay, that's cool. That's never had that as a kid or whatever.
No. Yeah. So Yeah, it is quite a difference from what we remember. And sometimes those of us like of our age or older, I see in the comments or just commentary, we're like, oh, things have gone to shit now. We used to do this and this, and you're like, yeah, but also like, I don't know. In a way, it's not. It's just different. It's not like worse necessarily. Like I find it, because someone comes in and they're already have, like they're able to consume things about Warhammer I never dreamed of at the time. Like there's like you can watch or listen to entire like you got like all the Horus Heresy novels. There's people YouTube channels who are dedicated to like parsing through all this and delivering like really taking the best parts of the story and delivering it in a way that's genuinely like super exciting and interesting. And then people come in here, they know more about stuff than I ever did. Like and I think it's cool. And they I think actually I'd be curious if the sort of success rate is higher now between people that fall into it or discover it and start it than what we had to deal with in that early time. In that early time, the spectacle was there, but trying to like get it and even afford it or do all the hobby stuff, it was really, and find people to play with, like it was really hard to. Like Chris said, I went through most of my high school experience being like, I only could think of like 2 or 3 people that did it, it was very like, and then even then I never talked about it. You didn't drink, you weren't like, oh, I do Warhammer.
It's kind of why,
you do what? Yeah,
it's kind of why we're all a little effed up or whatever. Yeah. We're kind of the survivors of it was like a very hard hobby.
Yeah.
It was expensive. Yeah. It was difficult. There was like it was said it wasn't like popular enough that you could like tell people about it, and we've kind of all survived through that. Mm-hmm. And now we live in an era where it's kind of not the opposite, but it's like it's way more accessible. Yeah. It's easier to get into. Mm-hmm. Way more people know about it, and it's just really I think a lot of people have like this like weird survivor PTSD or whatever when they're like commenting about younger people doing the hobby or whatever. Yeah. There's like a squirreliness about veterans.
There is a little bit. Yeah.
But. One thing I found really interesting, because I was watching, the thing that got me fired up to do this video was I was watching an old John Stallard kind of like sit and talk about how like they built the retail chain in the 80s and 90s in the UK. One thing that struck me was just kind of funny because like a lot of people harp at GW for being so corporate and for being like very like money focused and trying to like whatever. It's funny to hear him talk about how that was definitely still a thing. A lot of their decision making things were like we're gonna only sell GW products in a Games Workshop store because like the profit on it's way better.
Yeah, sure.
So like that, all that focus about like being a good business was there in the early days.
Yeah.
About how we're not gonna do fancy like stores with like fancy things on the wall. We're just going to be like a red box, and it's our staff that matter.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like you could look at a lot of different companies, but like GW's changed the least in like probably 30 years in terms of how they run things.
Yeah.
At Warhammer stores.
A little bit of the sort of charm of like kind of the staff doing extra things for you or some freebies or the way they had to as they grew bigger and bigger. It just becomes too hard to police if you don't become professional at the right time. Then, and Chris and I have witnessed this because it was still sort of like this in the early 2000s, although it was already more corporate then than before that. But there were stores where once things get a little too big and too distant and we're spread out, is if you don't have the right structure, you get stores where the staff are like stealing and running the store as this terrible clubhouse, and where they're literally causing customers to like, it becomes a toxic atmosphere, and you could say that's because we didn't hire the right people, but even with good intentions, it's just, if you get too big, you can't like personally keep an eye on everything the way you should. So, and then they also figured out that if they want to grow at a certain clip, they have to change their criteria for who works there.
Right.
It can't, they need certain, and they also had to like make everything, like if you look at their paint line and how their products work, they have to be like so easy that grandma or aunt or whatever can come and get it and know what to get, and it works for the kid or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, it did. I think you're right though. In general, they still have that shell and they still use it. You know, the hiring does matter. It's just they had to, be a little more serious about it.
Of course, yeah. No, there was a growing up to it a little bit,
they had
for
to grow
sure.
up a bit, yeah.
But I think all the core tenets were kind of laid
Yep.
in that foundation for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, it's interesting. Like you might still get to have one of those like wholesome '90s experiences if you like walk past a Warhammer store. But I feel like you're much more likely today to find out about it through, another means.
Yeah.
And it's kind of amazing how like still today, like I don't know that they spend $1 on advertising.
Right.
But they sure advertise a lot.
Yeah.
If you kind of catch my meaning,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
it used to just be their stops. Now it's their shops.
Well,
it's
it's
independence.
Warhammer community,
It's Warhammer
right?
community.
Yeah.
It's
That costs money.
every video game they make and every app
Yeah.
they make that has their name brand
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
It's become quite the machine, right? So yeah.
Even when they shut people down,
Even
it's
advertising, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like no news is bad news
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you guys think about it? How did you discover Warhammer for the first time? Was it the classic little Christophe way through the mall store, or was it online, the more modern way, I guess? Let us know in the comments. We appreciate that. And you can support the shop and you can support the channel by just coming and buying something, or you can check out our Patreon or just like and subscribe. That helps out too. We'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.